Welcome to tonight's talk, everyone. Tonight's topic, we decided to do it on the importance of taking responsibility for your feelings, because it's been a topic, hasn't it, that's been like floating around on, like, for you, for me, but also for like people we know as well.
Yeah all of
yeah, like everyone at the moment. So we wanted to like discuss this on tonight's talk, just so that we could like raise awareness of it and explain what we mean by taking responsibility of our feelings. So first things first, the feelings that we have, there's two types of feelings. There are wounded feelings, which we create, and there are core feelings, which are feelings of life. So like a parent dies and you feel grief, or you break up from a partner or they were unloving to you, for example. You'll feel heartbroken and lonely, or you might not have spent a lot of time with humans lately. Like for us at the moment, a lot of people will be feeling loneliness because because you're not having that contact with people as often, and these are normal feelings that come up throughout life because it's just a part of life, and things that happen along the journey. But then there's other feelings like jealousy, anger, guilt, anxiety, all these types of feelings that make you feel not just sad but very tense inside and sort of like you can feel yourself closed. These are wounded feelings, and these come from when we abandon ourselves. So is there a time, Jem, when you felt like one of these wounded feelings recently?
Well, yeah, because really a lot of us we don't know that it's a wounded feeling, do we? So we don't think that it's our fault. We think, oh, we're just going to blame that other person because they've made me feel like that. And I think a lot of us, like, say someone does something to us that hurts us, or our partner stays out dead late and doesn't even bother letting us know, and then we start feeling angry and upset and whatever. That's obviously where we get it wrong, because we've been blaming the other person. Yeah, they might be it is disrespectful, it is whatever, but at the end of the day, they're not responsible for our feeling. We're responsible for it. But it's like how do we get that across? Because I still struggle with that. It's like, no, sure.
Yeah, because I think what happens is when you have this feeling, it's automatically, because of the way we've been programmed from whenever we had our first trauma as a child, and that could have been as simple as being bullied in school, or parents being a bit strict, for example. But it's a trauma for a child because they're so small, they don't know how to deal with it. And then from then on, it's like your wound itself is like on autopilot. So when something happens, like your partner's out late, you automatically, it's like you don't even have a pause between that action of them staying out late to your reaction. There's no break in between. And that's what it is like. And I think your meditations would really help with this, Jem, because it helps slow the mind down and get that pause in between. And that's what people need to get. And the more they practice becoming aware of the feelings, so when you feel, oh my god, my partner is disrespectful, and you're angry, that straight away you need to say, okay, this is a wounded feeling, and what is going on inside me that's causing it, and take responsibility for that feeling.
And obviously that's it, isn't it? And it can happen. It's not just with partners, is it? It's with family members, friends
and co-workers as well. Kids. I mean, even kids, because if anyone you come into contact with, usually it happens with people in close proximity. Like if a stranger you just met a person on a group or something, and you say, oh, let's meet up at this time, and they don't meet up with you, it might not trigger that big response.
Yeah, you'd probably just put them off because it wouldn't be as personal, would it? And you just think, oh, well, I won't. But then over time, though, it does make you more wary of people. It makes you think, oh, well, I can't trust anybody.
Yeah, it
That's
could do.
Itself,
and if you already have a sort of wound that is, I'm unseen or unheard, then when someone does that, it could create a really big response, because you'd feel like, oh, they're disrespectful, when really they probably just forgot and had something going on for them. It's got absolutely nothing to do with you. And that's another thing, like people's behavior, like if your partner's staying out late, it's got nothing to do with you, but when they do that, you will automatically go into judgment of, they don't care about me, they don't love me, they don't value me, and then you might think, oh, they're cheating on me, where are they, all these thoughts. But these thoughts are what cause your wounded feelings. So the anger that's coming out is your anger projected outwards, but it's your anger at yourself for making up these thoughts that are scary.
It's lies in your head, isn't it? I mean, obviously, sometimes it is true. Something would be happening, but that's still not the responsibility of the other person.
No, and it's not loving to you to tell yourself that, because at that moment, it's a lie. And if it was intuition, like a lot of people, I used to get confused with intuition and fear, basically the thoughts that are making me scared. And intuition is more like a knowing. It's not like you feel anxious, oh my god, he's cheating on me, or what am I going to do, I'm worthless. It's more like a deep knowing that this person's cheating on me, they're not good for me. But it's sad, it's a sad feeling, but it's not it's not scary. You don't feel anxious, because intuition is a deep knowing that's in your highest good, that would say this person is cheating on you, and they're not loving to you,
they're not loving, they're not right, and then you can take the appropriate action then, rather than pushing your feelings out. You can really just have to take responsibility for yourself and your own feelings and your own self-care, and walk away from that relationship, or confront the person, see what happens, blah blah blah. But obviously with anything, isn't it, it's like anything really, just take responsibility. Because I mean, sometimes I can come down and think, oh my god, there's pots everywhere, and the first thing I think is, right, no one gives a shit about me. That's the first thing I think, right, that's it, no one cares.
I do that as well.
And it's weird, because it's like, really, I leave pots lying around, and it's not because I don't care about people, it's because at that moment in time I'm busy. But if someone just said to me, oh, can you come and help me, but it's like you say it in a wounded way. It's like, all these pots are on the side, like, hint hint. And that's the wounded self, isn't it? Not taking responsibility for my feelings, of why I'm feeling disgruntled by this.
Also, another, like in that situation, another feeling would be helplessness.
That's it.
So you feel you're judging yourself, but underneath that is a feeling, the core feeling of helplessness. You can't control what other people do. So as much as in a relationship you think things should be equal, which I personally don't agree with, because there's going to be some days where you're going to be absolutely exhausted because you've worked 20 hours or whatever, and how can it be equal on that day? The other partner is going to have to pick up the slack in the housework or whatever.
Exactly. It swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
But I think that the feeling of helplessness is really difficult. And I remember with like a friend of mine, when we kind of drifted apart a bit, and I felt helpless because I can't force someone to be friends with me. Like, I can't. And even I was trying, I was messaging, I was being nice, I was inviting them to places. And it wasn't going anywhere. And it's just because you can't. But in that situation, by me going OTT and then started to get angry because
you were caretaking. You were trying to get love by being nice.
Yes, exactly. So that's why. But that's why when someone's really nice. So I had an ex-boyfriend who was really like OTT nice, really nice. And I remember when I first met him, we were only together for like a few months. But I remember when I first met him, I thought, wow, he's like offering to do so many things for me. But something just felt off. I felt creeped out. But then I started to tell myself, no, he's just being nice, Cal, stop judging him, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, over time, it turned out that he wasn't a very nice person and that he was using these nice activities and things to cover up the fact that he wasn't a very nice person, and he was trying to get love instead of actually sharing love.
Because there's a lot. Because I have a lot of we have a few family members that tend to do things like that, don't they? Like they give their time and they give themselves up to get love, and then they expect praise and love. But that's not how you get it. You don't get it by forcing yourself onto people.
No, and also people can feel that, like they can sense
it feels fake, doesn't it?
It feels fake, and you're like and you don't feel like you want to say thank you to them because you feel like it's a contract.
There's a catch.
There's a catch to it. But that, like you say, that is caretaking, and caretaking is when you make someone else responsible. You take responsibility for their feelings of feeling good or whatever, but in exchange for that, you expect them to take care of your feelings, and when they don't, you get angry or blame them.
Called selfish, ungrateful.
Exactly.
They never asked for it in the first place. It's like, okay. So because they're just pushing their feelings, their responsibility to their own feelings onto everyone else. So there's so many different ways, isn't there? It's so
and if you don't, like, if you're making someone else responsible for your feelings, which is my kind of tendency to do, that when I usually make other people responsible. So I make it, so say for example someone's not speaking to me, I say it's my fault, and I blame myself that I've done something, and that it's my responsibility, and then if they change and they speak to me, then I feel okay. That's making someone responsible for your feelings.
So that means that that's a wounded part in you that you need to work on then, isn't it? Because obviously that person might never speak to you ever again. So does that mean you're never going to feel okay again?
Exactly. And but it can. People can go on for years. A grudge. That's what a grudge is. That's what a grudge is.
And that can eat away at people, can't it?
And it's because you've literally made that other person responsible for your feelings of worthiness and lovability.
It all makes sense. It's just because we've been doing it, it's like a habit of a lifetime, isn't it? Where we just do it. We've been doing it since we were kids, blaming everyone for our feelings. They like that. They made me hit that kid. They made me pull that toy off them. We've been doing it for years, haven't we?
Exactly. People blame each other, but blame doesn't get anywhere. It's like you're just going backwards and forwards.
Just yo-yoing.
And it doesn't help at all. That's why it's super, super important to take responsibility for your own feelings, even the ones that are caused by externals. So if someone is mean to you, like directly mean, and they are horrible, that's not an excuse to then go in on them with your anger and attack that, because
that's where I struggled, because I'd be thinking, oh right, it's gloves are off now, and I'd be thinking I'm coming back all the other way around. I might have done something, and then they're coming out, and then it's next minute it's choo, 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 like that. But I grew up in a family like that, with everyone just said whatever they thought of below the belt, and that was it. No, there was no one holding back. Everyone would think, oh, I've taken the higher ground, but no, there was always a snide dig as they were walking out the door.
Because even that, but it's not even about taking the high, it's not about taking high ground. It's that actually when you attack someone else, it doesn't feel good.
No.
I never walk away from being mean to someone and attacking someone thinking I feel great after that. Maybe in the first instance you might feel good, but then afterwards you'll be like, that was actually really mean. And it's irrelevant what the other person said to you. It's completely irrelevant, because you weren't in that moment when they were mean to you. You weren't taking responsibility for your feelings. You were making them responsible.
So what would you have to do then in a situation like that? Because obviously I remember you saying something about, well, what was it that what you'd do? You'd say, don't speak to me like that.
Okay, so it's a lot of practice, and it is a lot of practice. And to be honest, I find it very, very difficult when someone is angry at me and they're in my face. If it's over message, 100%, I could easily send them a message back and say, I'm not available to be spoken to me like that. Please don't contact me until you've calmed down. But the only thing you can do when someone is being unloving is walk away, because you can't stop them from, if you start telling them, don't speak to me like that, you can't speak to me like that, they can do whatever
and it winds people up, doesn't it? Because you're like, oh yeah, I bloody can.
Exactly.
And in the moment that he wants it, they think, I can do what I want.
And it's resistance as well, because by you saying that, you're actually trying to get them to stop speaking and stop being mean. So you're trying to control them, and then they're like, no, I'm not being controlled, and then they come back, and it's just like a big power struggle.
Toxic, isn't it?
And it just gets nowhere. But then there can also be the other way, where someone doesn't attack, they withdraw.
So they go silent, like stonewalling. Silent.
They go silent, but it's not like as in, I need to calm down so that I can come back in a loving state. It's anger. They're angry and they're withdrawing in anger.
So it is controlling still. It's still not taking response. It's still basically, it's guilt tripping, isn't it, as well? Trying to get the other person to feel like, oh, look what you're doing to me.
It's trying to get them to change again, but just in a covert way. The anger is both, and they're both the same. There's no one is better than the other. They're both controlling.
I'm guilty of that as well.
I do it much. I rarely.
You've done it.
Rarely get angry. I get angry usually when I'm outraged at something, like animal cruelty, which is not, that's outrage, so that is a good feel. So it's a different feeling. You know, like have you seen the program on Netflix, When They Will See Us?
No.
Okay, if you need to watch it, everyone watching, you need to watch this program. It's about 5 boys in New York.
Oh, I started watching it, and I think I had to
turn it off.
I did start watching it.
I started watching it. I've watched it all now, but the first 10 minutes I said, I can't, I'm so angry. I was so angry. I was literally outraged at the injustice in it. I managed to watch it because I felt like it was.
So that's something that would push people into, like,
change.
That's when people start being activists and start. It's a good sort
that's
of.
a good rage.
A good sort of like anger, like not anger. But,
it is anger, but it's more. It's more. It propels you into making a positive change. So it's a good time.
Yeah. So it's not a destructive sort of anger feeling.
I mean, it can if someone gets angry and then starts going beating someone up because of that. That's obviously like
some random person.
Wounded self mixed with their outrage. But I think when they're outraged, they don't want to feel that, because it's painful when you feel injustice, because you also feel helpless. And you're stuck and you're like, I don't know how to help these people. So then the wounded self comes in and says, okay, we're going to help. And then they do it in a negative way and start doing things that are not.
It's funny because with things like that now, I withdraw and I'm like, gotta go. And get off. But it's weird because I can't cope with that. But I would have probably gone to anger. I suppose it's different times in your life, isn't it? What you change, don't you? Or, you know.
I think I did withdraw. So I got angry and then I left the room and I couldn't watch it. And then a few days later, I came back and I turned it back on, because I felt like this is something that I should watch, because it's such a historical event that people need to be aware about these things. And as much as it was making me angry, I thought, I'm not going to let that stop me from being aware.
You're right.
And I think withdrawing was me not being able to manage that injustice feeling and helplessness. That was me.
It's helplessness.
Because you what can you do? And it's already happened as well. So there's literally nothing you could do. So helplessness is a very painful feeling to feel. And when people are being unloving, or not even unloving, just maybe you expected to get a job, for example, and you didn't get the job, and you're helpless. You can't make someone give you a job. And it's not that they're being unloving, it's just that, you know, you weren't the right fit for the role. So that can also bring up feelings of helplessness, which can then make you angry. Rejection, and you'll be angry at them, like, oh, who do they think they are? They're a rubbish company anyway. I don't want to work for them anyway.
But then you also might internalize it and start thinking, oh, I'm useless. I'm not gonna apply ever again. When really they might have had you second on the list and you never knew, and they just had someone else that was just slightly more whatever, and you're just kicking yourself while you're down, just kicking yourself more and more into it. So it's not taking responsibility for.
And that is because you're not taking responsibility for your feelings again of helplessness. So in order to feel in some sort of control over the situation, you blame yourself. So if I was a little bit different, if I had this qualification, if I had this much experience, I would have got the job.
If I was a bit thinner, if I was this, if I was that,
you can't make someone give you a job or be in a relationship with you or be nice to you. It's about them and what's going on for them inside them.
So it is, but it's a big topic, isn't it, taking responsibility, because it's not like we just think, I suppose really I just thought, well, I am responsible, take responsibility for myself, but it isn't that. It's not brushing your teeth in the morning and doing your hair,
but that is a part of it.
It's part of it, but that's what I thought it was. That I'm thinking, well, what am I supposed to do? Take responsibility for your emotions.
But there's different parts. So there's your emotional responsibility, there's your relational responsibility within your relationship. So if you are a carer for your grandmother, then that's the responsibility you have to them. If you're a parent, you have a responsibility to your children. So if you know that's a relational, then there's organizational. So making sure you're organized and you're not late for appointments, you know, being responsible for these things. Then there's financial, which I know a few people who are not financially responsible, and it can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, it can, I suppose, if you're in relationships and stuff, and obviously one person is,
financial irresponsibility can cause a lot of issues. Like some people, they just start gambling behind the partner's back, and then all of a sudden they're getting house taken off them. Like that's not loving. You're not taking responsibility for your finances.
I've had that happen too.
Yeah. And then there's what's the last one? Physical responsibility. So like taking responsibility for your health and your fitness. And eating good. But like here on this topic, we're mainly talking about emotional responsibility.
Yeah, because that just stems off into other like little topics, isn't it, that we can talk about all the time.
So what do you normally do, Jem, to take care of your emotions?
Well, I might have only just started in the last few months. So I'm struggling a bit.
What's the main thing that you struggle with?
Probably thinking someone else's fault.
In what way? Like
not always. Instantly I'll think that, and then when I've calmed down, I'll think, oh well, actually, I suppose it was a bit of a knob. But I won't. I'm struggling because sometimes I didn't know about wounded self. I didn't know what it meant. So I thought maybe taking care of yourself was probably making yourself happy and having a pedicure or something, which obviously I know it is in with it, but obviously I'm learning that it isn't that. It's about being responsible for your core emotions that are there. Not just like, let's just make myself feel better for the moment. Like have a glass of wine or do something. It's got to be a consistent thing, hasn't it, that I do. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to change habits, of go-to habits. So I suppose I've been doing my breath work and my yoga. That has really helped. Because it helps me be in the now, because I think I've got rush syndrome. I think I've got it from my mum a bit.
Me too, I've got that as well. Oh my god.
You must have got it off my mum, but then maybe your mum's, well, they are twins, aren't they? But like but I don't know. I think I have got it pushed onto me a bit, where I feel like I've got to be doing this and I've got to be doing that and I've got to be perfect and I've got to do this. And I suppose that I've been slowing down a bit, because what happens is when I'm speeding up, my wounded self is it's bubbling here. And I'm not in control of it.
Okay.
That's what I'm having to do. I'm having to slow down. Slow down to be able to recognize when I'm starting to feel something that really I need to do one and get in my room and just calm down a minute before I start spouting.
Main part of it is being aware of your feeling, how you're feeling.
Yeah. Which I don't think I would have been aware of. What I was just thinking, oh well, it's this mess that's making me feel like this. It's the kids. They're just all over the place. It's everyone. Mentioned, but it's everyone. I just thought, oh no, it's not. If they were just doing what I wanted them to.
Yeah. So true.
But really, like you say, we can't control, and there's that many. We'll have to do another talk on that, about all the ways that people try and control.
Yes,
because some of them are so
subtle
that you would never, I'm not controlling. Yeah, you bloody are.
Yeah, I way thought that because I'm not attacking, all in, like telling people they can't do things, but I'm the one who like sits back and is like, there underneath a little, trying to control.
I know, because I remember sometimes when you, like years ago when you were a lot younger, you'd be like, I can't remember, do you remember that time we got picked up from town and we were like, well, what's that noise, that jingling noise? And we thought it was the car, and you realised it was your earrings jingling. Instead of just going, oh mate, you yanked them out, and we're like that.
Yeah, I go quiet.
And then you just stormed off like that. I thought, oh my God. And it's because obviously that must have like hit a wounded. I don't know.
Well, obviously, So I go quiet like that.
Yeah, you went dead quiet, and I thought,
I never thought that going quiet was
causing like,
because when I was younger and I was bullied, I thought if I'm quiet, it's like a protection thing. If I'm quiet, no one will attack me. How can they attack me when I'm not saying anything? So I go quiet as a way in my wounded self because I don't want to be attacked. Whereas other people go attack mode because they're trying to fend off the other person who's attacking them.
Yeah, I think
it's doing the same thing, but just in a different way. But I think the sort of argumentative people and people who are very verbal, you can tell that is wounded. It's very obvious. You're like,
it is when you start looking at it and reading.
Very obvious. Like in my family are not really like that. My whole family. So when I used to hear people's families arguing, like full on,
like when you were in my house when you were a kid, you were like in shock, weren't you? Like like frozen.
But then I didn't realise that I'm not normal because I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, because the silence isn't normal.
That's not normal. Not normal. And I'm doing the opposite, like going inside, and that's what I do, what I used to do, and I try not to do it now, is ignore my feelings.
Yeah, that's it. We can't ignore it, because that's not taking responsibility. Yeah,
that's not ignoring them. So when you judge yourself, which is all these are forms of self-abandonment, which means you're not taking responsibility for your feelings. So judging yourself, but also judging others. So if you're saying, oh, they're a slob or blah blah blah, that is a form of self-abandonment, and you're not taking responsibility for your feelings. You're trying to control the situation
and make yourself feel better.
Feelings, which is, I think, ignoring your feelings is from the older generation, when they didn't have enough. They didn't have food on the table. They didn't have clothes. They didn't have time to think or feel. They didn't have that luxury like we have now. And I think it gets passed down through generations, and that's why definitely the carpet and just swallow your feelings. And then you can turn to addictions. So it could be from the extreme to drugs, or cigarettes, or it could just be TV. People can be binging, food. So these are the forms of self-abandonment, and obviously making other people responsible for your feelings.
Instead
of taking responsibility for them yourself. And when you don't take responsibility, that's when you can get addictions. Like
exactly, because it's just suppressing it so much.
If you see anyone who is addicted to something, has trauma that's not healed. And that could be food. So it could be someone who's constantly overeating, or constantly undereating. They don't have to eat, and it's an addiction that is from unhealed trauma. And you can even be addicted to exercise. Like, I think was younger. I think I was really addicted. Have you ever had any type of addictions, Jem?
Addicted to drama.
Drama.
Addicted to drama. But I don't know whether it could have some truth in it, because obviously it could feel normal for me sometimes. So
like familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have been told you're addicted to drama. But maybe there is a bit of truth in it. I don't know. I'll have to keep working.
Yeah, but I also think that it may look that way, but
perfection. Constantly trying to do everything, like if it's not perfect or high end, if I can't do something, I'll make sure I can do it. So I suppose that's a bit of a addiction, isn't it? Like.
Well, perfection, like perfectionism, it can actually stop you from doing things if you
procrastination.
If you don't think you can do it perfectly, you might not do it at all. Like, for example, I can't run because I don't have these perfect Nike trainers, and I'm not going to be very good because the trainers I have are not that great. So someone might, I'm not going to run because I can't do it to the best of my ability because I don't have the right trainers. Or I'm not going to release my new book because I can't afford to have it published with this amazing publishing company who are the best in the business.
I think I do that. And I like to be perfect before I actually. That's why obviously.
It's good, but sometimes you don't have the means to be your version of perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have this vision of what we.
There's no perfect, is there?
There isn't.
I'm fine with it now, but years ago I think I was a bit more, because it's the pressure that was put on us, and maybe me being the oldest as well. That being the oldest in a family, you can have a lot of pressure that you feel is on you. So maybe it's from that. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't really know where it stems from, but it's obviously a bit of something from a wounded part.
I think, and it's sometimes it's hard to differentiate between doing your best and trying to control something so it's perfect. There's a difference. And I think it's hard to differentiate between those two. But when we ignore our feelings, if we ignore the negative feelings, so the core feelings like painful feelings like helplessness and heartbreak, and we also ignore anxiety and jealousy that we cause by self-abandonment, we can't feel true joy. So it's like you have this like numb feeling, because you're not listening to the negative feelings, but the good feelings are right next to it. So you're like, you've got a lid on top of your feelings.
So you can't feel love if you don't feel pain.
No, you can't. You can't feel it. And if you're trying to,
if you've got no feelings, you've numbed it all, and you've numbed your good feelings as well. Is that what you mean?
Because you've numbed it. And if you try and like trying to give love from a place where you're ignoring your feelings, it's usually from a wounded place and not a genuine, because your heart's closed, your heart is shut.
Because you want to get love.
And you can feel it. You can really feel it when you're, I don't know if you've ever had this, I've had this feeling loads of times. I just feel numb. I don't feel sad, but I don't feel happy. I just feel like grey. I call it greyness. Like I just feel grey. Dull. I've had it a few times, and it's usually when there's something's happened and I've just shoved it down and ignored it, and I've not and dealt with it. And then once I deal with it, the joy comes. But it's very hard, because to feel that true joy, you know, where you just feel like overwhelmed with happiness and like love, and you love everyone and you just feel amazing. Your heart is so open that you obviously can get hurt, but you're going to get hurt if you've got a closed heart anyway, because you're judging yourself, which is painful when you're telling yourself.
Yeah, and you're going to be pushing everyone away.
Yeah. So you also with this, what I've learned is that to take full responsibility for your feelings, you really do have to be willing to be hurt by others.
Yeah, and keep working on yourself.
Yeah.
And your own self-care and your own just coming to terms in it with your feelings and where they've come from, the ones that you've bottled up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously we're talking about adults here, aren't we, that we've suppressed stuff because we thought that's what we were supposed to be doing, you know. And over the years it's
because no one teaches us. I don't know about you, Jen, but my parents did not teach me how to deal with my emotions or take responsibility for them as a child.
Well, they weren't taking responsibility for their own, were they? Were they? Like, obviously they weren't even caring for themselves.
Yeah, and that's where you learn how to manage your feelings from your parents. So I've learned to swallow them. to swallow them. So I have to learn to bring them back up and deal with them.
So that which is
really allow myself to feel something, rather than just stuff it down. Because when I was younger, I was talking to my friend about this the other day actually. When I was younger and I got bullied, I remember I was a normal sized kid, like I was average size, normal size, like not big, not slim, just like, you know, like a normal kid who like runs around and is toned and just normal.
Yeah, you were just normal.
And then after I got bullied, I remember I just ballooned. I went massive. I don't know if you remember, Jen, but I
do remember, but I just thought it's because you were, you know, because you were in your wheelchair and stuff, so you wouldn't exercise and
because
stuff.
I'd always been in my wheelchair from being a kid.
You had, true.
And it was because subconsciously it was like a protection thing. Because I didn't know how to manage these feelings that someone was so nasty to me, and I didn't know what to do. I had no one told me, that no one ever said to me, the reason why this girl was mean to you is because she's got something going on for her.
Yeah.
They never said that. They never told me that it wasn't my fault. Obviously everyone said like, she's, you know, that's not true, blah blah blah, but no one ever explained to me what was happening, what had happened, that she had a narcissistic personality and was pushing her anger onto me. So the way I could deal with it was by eating a load of food.
Because you're trying to make yourself feel better, because that made you feel. Because really, as a kid, what can you do? You just think, oh, chocolates, and that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And
that's how people get addicted, and then obviously they get older and they become bigger or whatever.
And every time they feel pain, then they'll go straight to the same thing.
Yeah, and I had a big issue with food for a very long time. Yeah, and it was only in the last, I'd say, 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years, where I literally eat when I'm hungry and I stop when I'm full, and I've not done that in years. Like I leave because I'm full, and I never used to do that. I was extreme. I was either a bowl of lettuce or a big pizza and something and fries and milkshake, where I'd feel sick. Whereas now I don't eat like that, and that's only in the last couple of years, things I've been really working on.
Because that was your way of dealing with your feelings and keeping them, like, because obviously you didn't have to think about it when you're eating or when you're concentrating on calorie counting or whatever you were doing. You didn't have to concentrate on that then, did you?
So what would you like to say, Jem, to our audience as like a takeaway?
Not really got much to say, really. But probably, we're just a work in progress, aren't we? And we're all in the same boat. I mean, I've only just started, so I'm just on my journey, plodding.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we've got this group, so that we can have these talks and talk to people and help people along their journey, and they can help us along ours. Like someone might know something that we don't know, so we need you to comment and share with us your tips and how you take responsibility
and what you've been doing to suppress your feelings, and like what you're doing to like to help yourself, because obviously just ideas, isn't it? It's just spreading awareness and feeling that like we're not alone. Like we're not alone, we're not, there's nothing wrong with any of us. We've just got pain, and that's normal, and we're allowed to have it, and it's just a matter of taking responsibility for it in a productive way.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
well, I think that's the end of our talk tonight, and we will be on Sunday, we will be posting another meditation, or your meditation. So everyone needs to download it because it's amazing.
It's on SoundCloud. Cloud. SoundCloud.
And I will be online for an hour on Sunday evening to answer any questions you have on emotional health or any issues you have. So I'll put a message on the group to say that I'm online. You can ask me anything you want. We will, and then we'll be back again on Thursday for our next live.
Don't know what the subject is yet.
No, we need to discuss. Okay. All right.
Anyway, brainstorm.
Bye, everyone.